The first man to be granted the title the Great was indeed not Alexander, but the King of Kings, Cyrus the Second of Persia, founder of the first superpower in human history. The regions from Asia Minor to Mesopotamia and then to Egypt in the south had seen some of the earliest great civilizations of humankind. The first ever recorded war was fought between two Mesopotamian regional powers in 2700 BC, the Elamites and the Sumerians. The first written language, Sumerian, and the first empire, the Achaemenid Empire, all originated from the lands in which the Persians would eventually rule for hundreds of years. Cyrus was born around 600 BC as a member of the Achaemenid royal family. At that time, Cyrus's grandfather, Astyages, ruled over the Median Empire in what is now western and northern Iran and parts of eastern Anatolia. According to the ancient historian Herodotus, Astyages had a troubling dream about his grandson Cyrus overthrowing him. In response, he allegedly ordered the baby Cyrus to be killed. However, the official tasked with killing him spared the child, and Cyrus was raised in secret. According to legend, a mere child's game led to the discovery of Cyrus, who had harmed the son of a Persian noble. After discovering that his grandson was still alive, Astyages surprisingly spared Cyrus's life and allowed him to live with his biological family, who were ruling over the region of Anshan as vassal kings. Cyrus became king of Anshan around 559 BC, after his father, Cambyses I, passed away. Cyrus was a competent, strong, and just leader who seemed like a good alternative as King of Kings, compared to his rather cruel grandfather. Astyages, who had ordered the killing of his own blood as a result of a mere dream, had also made Cyrus's savior, Harpagus, unwittingly eat his own son as punishment for denying the king's orders. This is where Cyrus's trademark began to shine. He was always seen as a liberator, not as a conqueror. So when he began to revolt against his grandfather in 552 BC, he received significant support from the Median aristocracy. Cyrus was able to demonstrate his military skills by winning a series of victories, culminating in the Battle of Pasargadae, where he managed to defeat a superior Median force, ultimately winning him the war. Cyrus did not seek vengeance and spared his grandfather's life. He seized the Median capital of Ecbatana, keeping its walls and status intact, and gave Median noblemen high positions in his new Achaemenid Empire. He was no saint, though, and had Astyages' offspring, his cousins, killed to reduce future threats. It's no wonder that Alexander the Great greatly admired Cyrus. As king of the Achaemenid Empire, Cyrus the Great understood that to unite his realm, he had to unite its people. Medes and Persians had to coexist to secure a stable empire. The Achaemenid Empire was divided into satrapies, each overseen by a satrap, which allowed for better local governance and tax collection. The king himself, along with most Persians at that time, followed the teachings of Zoroastrianism, one of the oldest monotheistic religions. Under Cyrus the Great, there was tolerance for every religion. The Jews, for example, called Cyrus a prophet, as he allowed them to return to their homeland after the Babylonian exile, just as a prophecy in the Bible stated. The king of Lydia, Croesus, saw Cyrus as an usurper of the Median throne. Ready for war, the king of Lydia asked the oracle of Delphi for guidance. The oracle responded, "If Croesus goes to war, he will destroy a great empire." As always in ancient sources, the oracle was perfectly right, just not as Croesus had imagined. Buoyed by the divine message, Croesus led a huge army across the Halys River and attacked the Persians in 547 BC. The Lydian war efforts were supported by Ionian Greeks, a fact the Persians would not forget within the coming 100 years. Cyrus's camels, war chariots, and disciplined infantry overran the Lydian army at the Battle of Thymbra. Croesus hoped that winter would end hostilities, but the Achaemenid king pushed on and laid siege to the capital of Lydia, Sardis, taking it within a fortnight. Cyrus knew that Croesus was a seasoned statesman, so he spared his life, and the former Lydian king became a loyal advisor while Anatolia was annexed. The Achaemenid Empire grew, and so did its military. An elite regiment was formed, the Immortals, who constantly consisted of 10,000 men, as dying or wounded men were immediately replaced. Cyrus the Great now laid his eyes on the last major power in Western Asia, the Babylonian Empire. King Nabonidus, the last Babylonian king, had previously grown increasingly unpopular among his people. He sought to replace the worship of Babylon's chief deity, Marduk, with the unpopular moon god Sin. Cyrus had learned of this change and wanted to act as a liberator, promising the Babylonians to reinstate their traditions. In early autumn of 539 BC, the Persian army crushed the Babylonian armed forces in and around Opis at the Tigris River. Little is known about this engagement, but for the first time, the Persian army was estimated to be larger than their opponents. The Babylonians were seemingly ill-prepared for a proper defense, and many important cities, such as Sippar, fell before the city of Babylon itself was taken. The wealthy Babylon had been protected by strong walls and the Euphrates River, which flowed through the city. Cyrus's army diverted the course of the Euphrates. By lowering the water level of the river, Persian troops could enter the city through the riverbed, bypassing Babylon's fortified walls. Shortly after the conquest, Cyrus issued the Cyrus Cylinder, a proclamation that emphasized his role as a just and chosen ruler by Marduk, the chief god of Babylon. He claimed to have restored peace and stability, freed captives, and allowed displaced peoples to return to their homelands. For some, Cyrus the Great seemed like the ideal ruler. He not only conquered vast lands, but also maintained their unity. However, even the likes of him are not protected from an undeserved ending. Around 530 BC, during one of his campaigns against the Massagetæ, a nomadic tribe in Central Asia, Cyrus was killed in battle. According to ancient sources, Cyrus died while fighting Queen Tomyris of the Massagetæ. Herodotus describes a gruesome account of his death, where Tomyris is said to have put his severed head in a wineskin filled with blood, as revenge for the death of her son in battle. Ironically and tragically, a man who never sought vengeance ended up getting killed for vengeance. Cyrus the Great had 6 children with the love of his life, Casandane. His successor would be his firstborn son, Cambyses, who would go on to conquer Egypt but would have a mixed record of ruling. His successor in turn would be Darius I, who expanded Persian borders to their greatest extent and brought prosperity.